I scorch the earth with these hot lines for the millionth time. Fire and brimstone erupting from the microphone. I steal the show and like a thief for the nights that I'm gone. Hat packs they got out. This wolf always ran on his own.
Welcome to a special holiday edition of Inside the Lines. We're recording a little earlier than usual so that everyone can be home on Thanksgiving Eve with their family. Co-producer Hayden Gray already is taking a much-deserved day off. F, you had an eventful morning, I guess, driving to Columbus. How's the holiday traffic?
I found the earlier you get up, and that was my plan this morning, to go get my grandson this morning. So I had to get up bright and early, get on the road, and get back here early. So it wasn't that bad. A little cold, a little windy. I had to hold on to the wheel a little tight this morning, but I made it okay.
Right. A couple of pretty big stories have broke since the last time we gathered a week ago. The first is that Ashland quarterback Nathan Bernhard announced he will be attending Maryland. Bernhard committed to Appalachian State in April. He visited College Park over the weekend for their game against Michigan. Committed on the spot, from what I understand. He had offers from Penn State and Michigan, among others. When we had him in the studio earlier this year, he said it was all about fit for him, and evidently he found the fit that he was looking for in College Park. Huh?
Wow. I when I saw it, I was shocked. That we talked a little bit about this. I was shocked, but who wouldn't want to be a Big Ten quarterback?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So congratulations, because it is a great opportunity for him. And when we talked to him before, I know he enjoyed, or he was ready to go and make the best of that opportunity at App State. But how many opportunities will you get to be a Big Ten quarterback?
Right.
So I think when that opportunity presented itself, I'm not sure how many people could say no to that too. So congratulations to Nate, because I hope he makes the best of it, because I see he's got tremendous talent. He's certainly talented enough,
right,
to make his mark in the Big Ten, and I hope he does well.
Do you think he'll start right away?
No, they got a quarterback who's a true freshman right now. His name is, I got it here, Malik Washington, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, Malik Washington. He threw for 2,500 yards as a true freshman. I don't know exactly what the path forward is there. I know that that Pep Hamilton's the offensive coordinator at Maryland. He was instrumental in luring Bernhard there. I mean, he's a guy who's worked with big-bodied quarterbacks in the past. He's worked with Andrew Luck and Justin Herbert. So, I mean, I think that was enticing for Nathan. We wish him the best of luck, though. Hopefully
Absolutely.
Things work out there.
I hope there's a plan for him. I'll just say that. I do hope that there's a plan, and I know sometimes college recruiting can be kind of it has a dark side to it where you just want to stockpile guys, but I do hope they truly have a plan for him, and he's got too much talent to just have him there because you could get him there.
Right.
But I hope they have a plan for him, and because he's got great talent, and the idea of, we talked to him about the idea of moving positions, and at that time he wasn't with it, and I don't think he would be with it at another school. So I'm hoping there's certainly a plan for him, because he's a talented kid.
Maybe we'll get to see him in Columbus in the next couple of years.
He gets to play in the horseshoe here sooner than later. The other story we've been kind of following throughout the season revolves around the Ohio High School Athletic Association and name, image, and likeness. The OHSAA announced earlier this week that its member schools voted in favor of an emergency bylaw referendum allowing NIL. Ohio is the 45th state to allow NIL at the high school level. What that means is, effective immediately, student athletes can be compensated for the use of their name, image, and likeness through appearances, endorsement deals, that sort of thing. We have some thoughts about this, but for better or for worse, it was coming down the tracks. So here we are.
I think, like we talked about before, it was inevitable, and I knew. I think we all knew it was coming. But what stood out to me most about that vote, Kurt, was the fact of the number of ADs who did not vote.
Right.
That probably stood out to me more than anything, was the number that just abstained. Because I think the reason is, if you really ask them why, I think they would say, well, I don't know what it means.
Right.
I have no clue what that means for the high school athlete. What does that mean, especially for the everyday Richland County, Knox County, Huron County. What does that mean for these athletes? And, of course, there's every so often LeBron James that'll come around every once in a lifetime. But for the average athlete that's just playing to play, what does that mean?
Right.
And most of them, it's nothing.
Do we know anything about what it means as of now?
I think the way they wanted to do this, they wanted to have the member schools vote, because the OHSAA and its member schools wanted to be in control of the language. They wanted to write the law, the bylaw, basically. And if they didn't do that, it was going to go to the court system, and then the courts would be in charge of that. So I don't know exactly. I haven't studied up on all the details, but the OHSAA wanted to be out in front of it a little bit here and be able to kind of craft the wording and that. And I think that's what they've done. So it's I don't think we've heard the last of NIL.
I'm scared. I am, and I'll just say this about it, and I know we got to get going on this, but I am scared to death, because what I see is an open door to what's already giving us trouble in the OHSAA or in any high school across the country, is just, on a smaller scale of pulling kids from one school district to another. It's just another avenue to say, hey, you live in a neighboring community. Why not just come on over to this community? And this is another reason why you should come to this community, another reason why your family should live here instead of there. And it just opens a door to where it just, again, takes away from the last pure part of sports that we have left. And all right, that's my soapbox. I'm done.
No, it's an absolutely legitimate concern. I mean, if opportunities exist in a neighboring school district, and you're going to be compensated to pursue those opportunities, that's a hard thing for a 17, 18-year-old kid to pass
hard.
up.
How about the family?
Yeah,
right.
Then you start including the family and all of that stuff. It's just an open door that I wish they wouldn't have opened, but we're here.
Maybe we'll get a high school football video game, like Ohio OHSAA video game. Can you imagine getting on like PlayStation, seeing Shelby's full roster, name and like size, build, all that? It'd be crazy.
I want to be Nathan Bernhard or Brady DeVito or Braden Fogel.
Right. Sure.
That brings us to this week. It's every high school football player's and coach's dream to have to practice on Thanksgiving Day, and we got a couple of teams who are doing it this year. In Division 4, Shelby won the Region 14 championship, 41-7 win over Gallion last week, just up the street here at Arlen Field. Braden DeVito threw for 249 yards and 4 touchdowns, rushed for 151 yards and a touchdown. It's the second regional championship for Shelby in school history, and the first since Brennan Armstrong took them to the semifinals in 2017. Shelby will take on Indian Hill out of Cincinnati in the semifinals. That game's at Sidney Memorial Stadium. Indian Hill beat Germantown Valley View 41-14 to win the Region 16 championship. Indian Hill was the top seed in Region 16. They are 13-0. They allowed 41 points in the regular season and outscored opponents 266-6 with 5 shutouts during the final 6 weeks of the season. I guess that's how it is when you get to the state semifinals.
Sure.
Everyone's real good.
Right, everybody. There are no missteps in those games. At this point, the Cinderella stories are pretty well all washed away. If you're there now, you belong there.
Right. The other D4 semifinal features defending state champ Indian Valley and record-setting running back Grady Kinsey, and they take on Cleveland Glenville and Ohio State recruits Sincere Johnson and Jameer Perez. Johnson is a linebacker. He's the number 1 recruit in Ohio's class of 2026. Perez is, get this, 6'4", 360 defensive lineman. The Tarblooders have 2 other top 100 recruits in the 2026 cycle. It's Chris Newell Jr., he's a safety going to Bowling Green, and Marcus Whipple, an interior offensive lineman with offers from several MAC schools. Glenville won Region 13. The past 4 years, the Region 13 winner has played the Region 14 winner, and that would have been Glenville and Shelby. I think the moral of the story is avoid Glenville for just as long as you can. Right. North Central Ohio's other state semifinalist is in Division 7. For the second straight year, the Hillsdale Falcons have reached the Final Four after playing in the small school state championship game last year. Hillsdale punched its ticket with a 25-20 win over Danville at Ridgewood General Stadium in West Lafayette. just an aside, you can't get to West Lafayette from Mansfield. It is a long, twisty road. The Falcons got they led 13-0 after the first quarter. Danville took a 20-19 lead in the third. Then Hillsdale got the lead back on Owen Sloan's third rushing touchdown. Owen's a kid we had in here a few weeks ago. Hillsdale sealed it when Jesse Trevathan intercepted a pass with about 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Sloan rushed for 205 yards, broke his own single-season rushing record. Defensively, Hillsdale led by linebackers Brady Heller and Aiden Hoffman, who combined for 17 tackles. For the season, Heller had a team-leading 91 tackles, and we are pleased to welcome Brady into the podcast studio this week. Brady, thanks for making some time and stopping by.
Yeah, of course. Should be fun.
Yeah. We got a lot to unpack here, but before we do that, let's take a minute to thank our sponsor, Graham Auto Mall. Whether you're cruising in for a new ride or keeping your current one in top shape, Graham Auto Mall has you covered. Shop a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles or trust their expert service team to keep you on the road. If you're in the market for a vehicle, stop by Graham at 1515 West 4th Street in Mansfield or visit GrahamAutomall.com. Graham Auto Mall, your hometown dealer. All right, Brady, let's start with this past Friday. You guys jump out to 2-score lead. Looks like you might run away and hide, but anyone who knows anything about Danville football knows that they're not going to roll over for you. Just talk a little bit. I mean, given the recent history between the programs, I mean, I would expect that's what you expected from that team.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. They go into every game against pretty much anybody thinking they're going to win. So they play very sound football, and they're just focused on doing their job each play. So, if you don't do yours, they can break a big play, which is what happened there.
Right. So run us through that final defensive series. Danville gets the ball at their own 20. There's 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, and on the very first play, Trevathan intercepts the pass. It was kind of bobbled momentarily. Trevathan and the Danville receiver were kind of battling for possession as they hit the ground. I mean, from your vantage point, was possession clearly in Trevathan's advantage there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I broke through the line just as he caught it, like the wall of the screen.
Right.
And, yeah, he caught it for sure. And it was just a great thing to happen, especially for him, because he's just a hard-nosed kid. Right. I love watching him play.
And we were that's the next thing. I mean, for those people who might not know, Trevathan tore his ACL in his right knee in the second week of the playoffs last year, so he missed the entire run to the state champ. I mean, he was on the sideline. He didn't get to play in the state final, all that stuff. I mean, that I talked to him last week, and he said, his teammates kind of kept him engaged, and because that can be a pretty dark time for any kid. I mean, was that something you and your teammates consciously made an effort to do, was kind of keep him involved?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd say our team's one of the more closer teams around. I mean, we just always do everything together, whether it's in football or outside of it. And just for that to happen to him, I mean, obviously it's always the next guy up mentality, but just Jesse is like a team captain, and he's always there. Didn't miss anything even after he tore it. After surgery and stuff, we all went visit him, talked to him, make sure he's all good, and he played a role in helping the guy filling up his shoes step up and play well.
Yeah, and we've talked about it time and time. I mean, that's a dark time for a kid. Yeah. I mean, you all of a sudden you're laying there, and you got to move on. You got to move on.
Yeah, and it's weird because you don't. It's a weird space because you don't necessarily want your team has to move on, but it's like in your heart you're like you don't want them to.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, man, do they have to? You kind of want the season to stop and everything to stop moving, but at the same time you want your team to move on and do well, but you don't want your friends and your boys that you've been fighting with to have to move on without you. So it is a tough time, and for young players, and I can remember being in college, and this was when Gary Blackney, who was my college coach at Bowling Green, he was one of the first coaches that started talking about therapy for college football players. And at the time we were thinking like, this is nuts. But for injured players, like they had to go to once a week to a therapist. And, we didn't understand why. But as I got older, I started to understand like it is important because that is a tough time. And I definitely couldn't understand it, being 15, 16 or 17 years old, trying to move on from that stuff, having your season kind of stolen from you, that stuff.
Yeah. And by the time you guys got to the state championship game last year, you were pretty beat up. I mean, Owen Sloan, a guy we had in here a few weeks ago, he was playing on an ankle he probably ought not to have been playing on. I mean, it required surgery in the off season. I mean, this year, has the coach, like, you guys probably knew you were going to make a deep run here. Have they tried to kind of reduce the workload a little bit this year? I know you guys have, been involved in a lot of blowouts, so you're sitting out in the second halves. But I mean, that's probably a conscious decision that coaches make, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, there's a lot of games this year where me and my guys haven't really played a whole lot in the second half.
Right.
But then again, that's just credit to the depth we have this year and the younger guys being able to come in and play and still keep us up.
Yeah, and I know Owen. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen you a whole bunch, but I mean, it seems to me like he's kind of he's not playing every snap on defense, And I don't think Hayden McFadden, who was he played a lot of defense last year. He's only got a couple of tackles this year, and K.O. Lewis, the quarterback, doesn't play a lot of. I mean, it seems like you guys are trying to keep those guys safe and healthy. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can have a guy that can sit out a series on defense and then be 100%, whether that's just giving them some rest for some breaths. I mean, that's just a big thing, especially for Owen, who gets a heavy workload with the carries.
Right.
I mean, it's just nice for him to go down there and be healthy as he starts the offensive drive.
And you hear Ryan Day say it all the time at Columbus. They are absolutely managing workloads because they're expecting to be in the college football playoff. And I mean, they're taking a lot fewer snaps than most other college football teams.
Yeah, it's that expectation part. And I think when I look at your team and your program. Now and I think Kirk, you mentioned it, how sometimes now you guys expect to not only make the playoffs, but make a run in the playoffs. So how do you all approach that, Brady, when you get to preseason, and what does that mean to you in the preseason, and how you prepare for the season going into it, specifically this year? What was preseason like for you all, you and your teammates, knowing that, hey, we're expected to make kind of a postseason run?
Yeah, I mean, everybody knew that we were young last year. We only had a few seniors that really did a whole lot on the field. So, I mean, really, it started in the winter with everybody coming in before school. If you were in sports, whatever, get liftings in, make sure you're keeping up with that kind of thing. And then summer rolls around, and then you're just expecting – it was more of an expectation, like, that you have to be there. Like, it's not really – it's like a team thing that you need to be there. And, yeah, we just did a lot of stuff. I mean, had a lot of fun still with it. But, I mean, just preseason, we're in the back of your mind, it's always there, hey, we're going to go do this at the end of the season. And to get there, these are the things that we have to do. And it might not be the most fun all the time, or you might have to step it up a little bit. But in the end, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I would imagine preparing for a 16-game high school football season is different than preparing for a 10-game high school season.
Sure.
You guys, I mean, you haven't ducked the injury bug entirely. Your kicker, A.J. Brown, was out last week. Kyle Turk was out last week, who kind of does a lot of things for you guys. I mean, they just take us through. I mean, were they both knee injuries? Or, I mean, where were we with those guys?
Yeah, they were both knee injuries.
Is there a chance that they'll be back, or has that not been determined? Or
I don't think that they'll be back.
Okay. Well, I mean, how does not having, especially Turk, who does a lot of things for you guys offensively and defensively, I mean, how does not having him on the field, does that change the complexion of both sides of the ball?
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle is a guy I'd say has the best hands on the team. I mean, he can go up and get a ball. He's not the tallest or the most physical, but when the ball's in his radius, he can come down with it most of the time. And then on defense, he's actually one of the more intelligent guys, and playing that safety position, he's able to communicate and get things rolling.
Right.
So, yeah, that's made me and some other guys on the defense have to step it up and communicate more with the secondary.
And it's, you and I it's a war of attrition at this point in the season. I mean, it's awful that injuries happen, but injuries happen when you're 15 weeks in.
Right. And I think that most times teams that it's the depth, and Brady, you talked about how developing that depth is so important during the season, and how coaches do it, and it's not just up to the coaches. So, when you look at your role in developing your backups and the young guys and getting them ready to play, how do you feel your role has changed, or what is your role when it comes to developing players behind you? Because your depth is going to be important. What is your role like when it comes to developing players that play under you, or younger players in the program?
Yeah, I would say just as a captain, not just me, but the other ones too, just like giving all the advice we can, because a lot of us seniors have a lot of experience just with games and close games and that sort of thing, or how to take on a block or get off. So just giving those little bits of advice I can, and then just the more repetitions they can get and give them. I have a lot of trust in our younger guys. I think just with playing 16 games last year, and then now I think we're, 14 or something like that, they just have so many extra reps and things they can do. The amount just from this year alone that some of our like sophomores have gotten better is insane.
And cool. And you know, we talk about it with Marion all the time, Marion local. I mean, if you're playing an extra 6 weeks of football every year, I mean, those kids, you know, that team last year, that generational team played 2.5 extra seasons basically with just playoff games. So I mean, that extra work, you can't underestimate the value of that.
Yeah, that's not practice. Right. You know what I mean? Those are extra games, and you can't replicate that. You know, and that makes a difference from year to year. And when you put that into perspective, and people wonder why, well, how can they be so good year after year, and how can a program put such a great product on the field so many years? Well, that doesn't just happen. You know, that's more than just talent. Right. That is young people putting that experience in action and saying, well, I've seen this before. Right. You know what I mean? Because what happens, even talented players, when you put them on the field and they haven't seen things, can look average when they haven't seen certain things. So I think the experience is, especially in the postseason, makes a big difference.
Yeah. In addition to your role on the defense, you are also the center. Was that right? Along the offensive line, is that out of necessity, or do you like playing on the offensive line?
Okay, so last year preseason we started scrimmages, and I had like no thought at all of going to play offensive line. I was always kind of like I would practice with the offense, but it was more of like an H-back or like a backup running back to Owen, or something in that nature. But I'm one of the more bigger skill guys that we had in the past few years. So in the preseason, our starting center, who would have been, tore his ACL, and then a week later, after that, a scrimmage against Mapleton, our backup center tore his ACL, and so there wasn't really anybody else that was prepared and had the experience to step in there. So I just stepped in, and then I just haven't looked back since. And at first, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really like it. I was like, what is this offensive line stuff? But now it's been really fun. It's just fun with those 5 guys up there. You get like a little brotherhood going.
Yeah, I would think that's a big adjustment for a guy who's used to, you know, carrying the football instead of plowing the road. But I mean, it seems like that group up front, you guys have kind of, you know, I don't know, chemistry-wise, what's that like for you guys?
Absolutely. I would accredit that mostly to our offensive line coach, Coach Pick. He's he played at AU. Right. I think he was there for like 5 or 6 years with the COVID year and all that. I mean, just he brings back that experience. And at first, he kept telling me, oh, your first step, this, that, and that, about all of like these little things. And then after my first year coming into this year, I realized how much those things really matter, especially on the offensive line. That first step and that second step with the drive is huge.
Right. Now let's go back to last year's tournament run. You guys were in a different region at the time, Region 25. You won your first 2 games pretty comfortably, and then you played Malvern in the state or in the regional semifinals. That's the double Hail Mary game. We talked to Owen about it. I mean, we'll ask you the same thing. Do you feel like you're cooked when you go down with a? I mean, are you always pretty confident that you can get yourself in a position to potentially win the game?
See, in that moment, I just wasn't even like thinking about it. Like, we didn't have time to kind of panic. I think as a group in the huddle, we were just like, okay, we have 30 whatever seconds. Let's go do it. And then we did. We got a nice tunnel screen to Hayden, but right before to set that up, we got 20 yards, and then we ran up to the line. And I don't know if we had a timeout or not. I can't even remember. But just, it was kind of crazy looking back at it now of how I didn't kind of freak out. Like, we were all just together, and it was fun.
Well, I mean, when you're in the huddle, and you probably weren't even huddling because there was no time for any of that. But I mean, are people composed in that situation, or does it get kind of is anyone panicking?
Absolutely. I think there was not one person, at least on in the stands, there was definitely people panicking. But for sure. I didn't we got in the huddle and we got the call, just all right, go to the end zone and kind of we'll try and get a tip or whatever. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm not going to let anybody get near him before he can make the throw. And that's just what I did. And then offensive line, if you go back and watch the clip, Kale has like all day to throw.
Right.
So we just executed our jobs one by one, and it worked out.
If ever there's a time to panic, I would say that's the minute right there.
And I like the way you put that, Brady. Like, you don't have time. Sometimes you don't have time to even panic in that moment. And I will tell you, Kurt, that right there that's the characteristic of a very well coached team.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you can just say, look, I had to do my job. And all 5 offensive linemen knew their job. They know their job isn't to catch the ball, throw the ball, worry about how the ball was going to be thrown. Their job was to make sure that nobody touches their quarterback so he can throw the ball. And that's winning football, man. And to hear that is like, to me as a coach, that says, number one, winning football, and also says a well-coached football team, because they understand they can't get caught up in the moment, the situation. What's my job in this circumstance? My job is to make sure that my quarterback doesn't get touched so we have a chance to win.
Right.
It's a simple game, man. It's a simple game.
Now, you guys, last year in the state semifinals, you played Danville. It was a brutally cold night at Shelby's Whippet Athletic Complex. You guys fell behind early in that game. It was and then you kind of turned the tables in the second half. It was a 25-22 win. I mean, given what happened in that Malvern game a few weeks early, I suspect there wasn't a lot of panic against Danville. I mean, what was the mood like at halftime of that game? Was it just very business-like, where you just got to make these adjustments, or I mean, was it emotional? How was it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at halftime of that game, the focus, we had a few guys out on offense, so we knew our offense wasn't going to be like explosive and insane like it normally is. But defensively, it was a lot of talks with our defensive coordinator and head coach at halftime about what we can do to stop the run, because I think they had over 200 and some yards in the first half, and then in the second half we held them to like 22. So I can attribute that definitely to the D-line for sure, because they really stepped it up in that second half. And then we just adjusted schematically to some things they were doing to get the edge on them.
Right. And, I mean, you win that game, you advance to the state championship, and your reward is to play maybe the best small school football team in the history of Ohio high school football. We know how that all turned out, but just what was that experience like playing at Tom Benson at the Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton? I mean, it's got to be a once in a lifetime thing, or maybe twice in a lifetime. We'll get to that shortly. The stadium was cool. I mean, obviously it didn't go the way we expected at all. Like, I was going in that game, all right, we're going to win. What are we going to do to get there? And then, it just didn't go as planned. So it's a little bit of a sore spot for me still, and I'm sure it always will be. But, it's over now, and all we can do now is go back and try and get some redemption. Right. I mean, when you're preparing for a team like Marion, and I mean, what's that week of preparation like? What are the coaches telling you? I mean, you watch them on film, and there's not many weaknesses there.
No, absolutely. I mean, I would say last year, because that was kind of our first experience in this situation. We never really played a MAC school before. We didn't know. Right. Now, we obviously knew from their film that they don't make very many mistakes. I mean, you look at their special teams are crisp.
Right.
And so we go into that game, we're thinking, okay, we need to clean these things up, know what we need to do. But then we kind of realized that it was kind of a whole nother level that we weren't ready for in that moment.
Right.
Which is okay, because we did the best we did. But this year, we're trying to step up to that level that we saw in the state championship, which is nice to have somewhere to shoot for.
You don't know until you know. I guess you gotta experience that, and now you know what it takes to get to a whole different place.
Yeah, and I think I wonder, Brady, if that kind of gave, not only that experience is one thing in the game itself, but I wonder if that gave you guys as a team and players kind of motivation to think about, can we make our program or our team or our players, can we get this good? You know what I mean? Do we,
Absolutely.
Is that something that you all thought about? Like, what do we need to do to be this good? And did that give you any motivation going into the following year? Besides just beating them, I know you want to beat them, but what?
Yeah.
Just as a team, you know what I'm saying?
100%. I mean, I think every guy that was at that game for themselves thought, what can I do to prepare now? And I know some of the guys, you take that in different ways. I know, like, one of our guys posted, like, the score in the locker room, like, the week after it happened for the winter liftings and everything, just so everybody would see it as we came in. For me, I attributed it to what stacked up against us, which was the little things. So all of the year in practice, I think about, like, just how much a step can mess up a play, or if a blitzing linebacker, you miss a run-through on the O-line and they get a TFL, just how big of a momentum shift that can be. And if you can minimize all of those little things, then you have a complete game, and that's what you got to work for.
I covered Clinton Massey. I was covering all the state championship games a couple years ago, and Clinton Massey was playing in the D4. They ended up winning, and they have a coach. His name's Dan McSturley. He's kind of a coaching legend in Southwest Ohio. And in the post game, we were talking to him about, just the evolution of his program, and he said the best thing that ever happened to us. He said we got to a regional championship game, and we got beat by Coldwater by 50 points. He said that made us all go home and look in the mirror, and we had to reevaluate everything and I suspect that was probably the same for you guys. You go home and think, how can we possibly be 74 points better next year than we were this year? I mean, is it look in the mirror time after last year? I mean, how'd that go?
100%. After that, I mean, me and my friends and a few guys on the team had said we wanted to win a state championship since the 5th grade. So it wasn't like after that game we were like, oh, I guess it's not in the cards for us. It was, we still have a year.
Right.
And it's possible. I mean, they did it. Why can't we? So what do we need to do in these next months to prepare ourselves for that?
Has that experience made this team better, do you think?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you go through, not saying that the teams we played weren't that good, because they were, and it's great competition, but you go through the season and you kind of think you're good.
Right.
Until you're not.
Right.
And then we found out that that's another level that you have to get to, and hopefully we're there this year, and I think we're a lot more sound.
I've been doing this job long enough to know that there's North Central Ohio good, and that's not that's good, but then there's state level good, and those are two very, very different things.
Right. And nothing fills that gap more than the experience of seeing it and playing against it. So yeah.
Now, I mean, this is your second time, and is it somehow more satisfying this year than last year? I mean, just getting to the Final Four.
I would say it's less satisfying just because last year I didn't really know what to expect. I wanted to win a state championship, and I knew that was my goal that I was working towards. But this year I would have been disappointed if it didn't happen.
Right.
If that makes sense.
And I wrote a column earlier this week about Shelby and Hillsdale both playing with the weight of serious expectations. Wow. and I mean, is it good to have expectations on your shoulders, or is that just a weight that doesn't go away?
No, absolutely. I think it's great. I mean, for most competitors, that's what you want. I mean, if you aim high, aim small, miss small. If you aim for the best, then you miss maybe by a little bit, and you can still be great. But if you just kind of then you'll miss low, and then not very good.
You're one of 16 seniors on the roster. You guys, I don't know if you would call it playing with house money last year, playing in a state championship game with all those under. Is there a greater sense of urgency, I guess, this year, knowing that the finish line's kind of in sight?
I mean, yeah. For me this year, honestly, I kind of wanted to just slow down. I mean, I only have 2 possible games left, and I know that's what all my friends are thinking, is we just want to have fun with each other and play the sport we love for as long as possible. And to do that, we have to win this week. So, I mean, we're really focusing on this week, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Let's talk about Friday. I mean, McDonald won Region 25. McDonald's a little north of Youngstown. Tough kids out in the Mahoning Valley. Blue Devils are 13-0. They're in the state semifinals for the 4th time in program history. What do they do well without giving away the game plan? What are you guys going to have to do to kind of slow them down?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think for us it's just going to be physicality. Yeah. I mean, they got some size on us. I'm not going to lie. The scouting report will tell you that. But I think our guys will be ready, and I think that it's just going to be job football like it always is, and then physical football like it always is. And if you take care of those two, usually you'll have a pretty good outcome.
Right. they got I think 2,000-yard rushers, a quarterback who's thrown for almost 1,700 yards or more than 1,700. Is there anyone in the Wayne County League that they compare to? I mean, when you're looking at them, do they look like anyone you've played?
Okay, so when I first watched their film, not necessarily in the Wayne County, but when we played Lawnville, their offensive style reminds me a lot of what Lawnville ran this year. And Lawnville's head coach used to be Danville's head coach.
Right.
So, I don't know, just watching their film, they pull a little bit more and they're a little bit heavier set, just like with their scheme. But in terms of like their jet sweeps and the dive and stuff, it reminds me a lot of Lawnville.
Yeah. And you know, I think that outside of the Midwest Athletic Conference, which, you know, Marion and Coldwater, the Wayne County League is one of the better small school conferences. And I mean, does playing a Wayne County League schedule prepare you guys for what you encounter in the postseason?
Yeah, absolutely, I would say. I mean, going from our league championship game and then to the bye week to the next playoff game, it's like kind of like, not to say anything bad about those lower schools, but it's kind of a step down in that way, just because we're playing some higher division schools with some bigger guys, some more kids to choose from, just that kind of thing. And then just it helps you prepare for, I would say, more close games, adversity more. I would say the games feel a little bit different in the Wayne County than playoff football because that's just how it's going to be. But adversity is what it helps you prepare for the most, I would say.
Right. Now, I would assume that leading up to a state semifinal game, there are a lot of distractions that you guys have to kind of block out. I mean, is it difficult to block out? I mean, I would imagine there's community pep rallies and send-offs and stuff like that. I mean, is it hard to focus on the task at hand? I mean, I would think not with a veteran bunch like you guys.
Yeah, I don't think it is, to be honest, just because we got all my best friends. I mean, we see each other every day. We go to practice, and we know what's important. I mean, we went through it last year. We know what we have to stick to. You can't let your head get too big, you know. You got to show up to practice, and you got to practice hard for however long you're there and watch film after and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I think we just know what we need to do, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of it so far.
Do they have anything special planned for you guys? I mean, what's this week like? Nothing out of the ordinary?
I don't think so. We don't have school on Friday, so I know we're getting together at one of my buddies' houses for breakfast with everybody.
All right. Is it school buses to New Philadelphia, or are they charter buses for you?
See, now I don't know, to be honest, but I really hope it's school buses.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Our bus driver, we have the same bus driver for every game. Bria,
Okay.
Shout out Bria Madsen. She brings the energy. I love riding with her to the games.
Can't change it up now.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, you
yeah.
might as well stick to it. What's that bus ride? I mean, is it clowning around? Is it all a business trip for you guys? I mean, what's that ride to away games, away playoff games like?
I mean, we got music going. It's definitely not horsing around. It's just a calm. I mean, we're not like not talking. You don't want to get too worked up. But at the same time, it is a business trip, and we know what we're going there to do. So, I mean, I would just say it's a calm manner, just talking about certain things here. I mean, I know on the last bus ride, I was watching film and talking with some of our guys just on the way to our game about some of the things that I saw on film.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that.
Who's the guy keeping everyone loose? Is there one guy who does it?
Oh, yeah. Hayden McFadden. He's the funny guy.
Okay. Who takes it most seriously on the bus ride?
Most seriously on the bus ride, I would have to say Kale.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise. I guess
Yeah.
quarterbacks. That's the job.
Right, and I was hoping you would say that because there's something about a quarterback kind of clowning around is
It's a bad look.
right. That's not the best look.
Yeah, I'd say our receiver is pretty stereotypical.
There you
though.
go.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and we touched on it. I mean, the finish line is absolutely in sight, one way or the other. You got 2 more games to go. I mean, have you let yourself think about what it's going to be to walk off the field for the final time, or is that something you're trying to not concern yourself with?
No, I've thought about it, and I just thought, well, I gave it my best, and there's not really much more I can. I mean, there's 2 possible games left, which is a lot more than anybody else has had. So really, I'm just trying to soak in what I can with my coaches and teammates and do the best I can for them.
Right. Well, hopefully you and your teammates are walking off the field in Canton with a big gold
Sweet.
trophy underneath your arm.
Nice.
That's gonna wrap it up. We always like to end with the 2-minute drill. We'll throw you a bunch of questions here
Okay.
and see what you come up with. First up, what What do the Hellers have planned for Thanksgiving?
I got Thanksgiving tonight, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yep, with my dad's side.
Okay. What's the best part? Is it football in the afternoon? Is it dinner?
I'm gonna go with football practice before.
Not a lot of kids get to practice on Thanksgiving Day. Well, what are you most thankful for?
I would say my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and my family.
Christmas just around the corner. Have you made your Christmas list out yet? What's on it?
I actually haven't.
Okay.
It's not really been on my mind recently, so I haven't really thought about it
Some
too
other
much.
things to think about.
Yeah.
More pressing issues.
Yeah, he's got some other things.
When is it okay to start listening to Christmas music?
When is it okay? Okay. I'm a big Christmas guy though, so I'm gonna go
pre-Thanksgiving.
Normally I would say December 1st,
Okay.
but I'm gonna go December 7th since December 6th is the championship game.
That's an excellent answer. How about decorating and putting up the Christmas tree same time?
Yeah, I go to December 1st.
Okay.
Is allowed.
Tell that to my wife. She doesn't. She's like mid-November.
Now you played on a baseball team that made it to a state tournament a few years ago. What's your favorite sport? Are you a football guy? Or are you a
Football all the way.
No question
Not
about
even
it.
close. Most team sport in the world. That's what I like about it.
Right, Hef. I think you guys are cut from the same loaf
For
of
sure.
bread there.
For sure.
What's the future look like? I mean, you're planning to try and play in college, or do you want to go to school? Do you want to enter the workforce?
I'm gonna go to college, probably to Bowling Green is what I'm thinking, just for business, finance, but not really anything football related.
Okay.
But hopefully later in life coaching.
I got you.
I think I would rather coach it than play it, honestly, down the road.
What do you want to do for a living? Something in the business world?
Yeah, something finance for sure, financial advising, something like that. I like math a little bit, so
I got you.
yeah.
Last but not least, what would it mean to win that state championship?
It would mean everything, just to mostly not even for myself, but just for my teammates, because I know how bad they want it, my fellow guys. So
Right.
I try to give it to them.
That's gonna wrap it up here. We certainly appreciate you coming down here,
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
We wish you the best of luck on Friday, and potentially beyond that. If you're
Sure.
if you're going to watch Hillsdale or Shelby this weekend, dress warm. It's going to be 30 degrees as a high, and it's going to get colder at night. But go out and support the local team still playing here. That'll do it for us. Thanks for listening.